Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to online classes of Iqra Ufas by secondary schools and colleges, a project of Iqra education system. My dear students, in the last few lectures we have covered many topics of prose, poetry, grammar and composition. Today I am going to conduct a small test in grammar section, and the test is of narration. I have already explained you what narration is and how to convert a direct sentence into indirect sentence. Let's go through the test. I have written some instructions on the board before the test starts. You may go through them so that when you are doing the test, you must take care of these 3 points. Let's go through them. Instruction number 1. 5 steps or 5 changes. This is actually a reminder or a review of the rules we studied about narration. Step number 1 or change number 1, change of verb. Step number 2, change of commas. These 2 changes are associated with reporting speech. If you remember, I told you there are 2 sentences in narrative sentences. The one outside the commas and the one inside the commas. So the sentence which is outside the commas is called reporting speech, and the sentence which is inside the commas is called reported speech. I hope you remember this right now. So step number 1 and step number 2, these 2 steps are associated with reporting speech. Then step number 3, change of pronouns. Step number 4, change of tense. And step number 5, change of adverb. These 3 steps, steps number 3, 4 and 5 are associated with reported speech. So it is now understood and clear that you make 2 changes in reporting speech and you make 3 changes in reported speech. Let's go through instruction number 2. Change of tense. It has step number 4. Does not apply in 2 conditions. To make it simple for you to understand, whenever we change a sentence from direct to indirect sentence, we also change the tense of that sentence. But in 2 conditions, you will not change the tense. Otherwise, you will apply all the other 4 changes but not change number 4. Condition number 1, when the reporting verb is not in past tense. What do we mean by reporting verb? Said to is called reporting verb. Condition number 2, when reported speech is universal truth. I have exemplified you both conditions with the help of sentences here on the board. Example number 1, she says to me, I am fine. You can see there is no said to, in fact there is says to, which means reporting verb is not in the past but in the present. So we convert the sentence like this: she tells me that she is fine. No change of tense. I am fine present tense, she is fine present tense. Example number 2, he said to me, sun rises in the east. Reported speech is a universal truth. Sun rises in the east, it always rises in the east. So we do not make any changes in the tense or in the sentence. He told me that sun rises in the east. I hope you got my point. Instruction number 3, do the test in your fair register. Okay, my dear brothers, let's move on to the test of narration. Here you are. Iqra Ufas by secondary schools and colleges, Karachi, Pakistan. Test of direct and indirect narration. Sentence number 1. I said to him, will you go to Delhi? There are 4 options given, A, B, C, D. You have to tick any one option. Or you can write the option number in your register instead of writing all the 4 options. How you will do it in your register? You will write the question, I said to him, comma, inverted commas, will you go to Delhi, question mark, inverted commas close. and then instead of writing these 4 options, directly write down the answer, whether it is A, B, C or D. Sentence number 2. He says, I have read this novel. There are 4 options given. You may choose any option and write it down in your register. Sentence number 3. Tanya said to her friend, can you lend me an umbrella? Options are given before you, A, B, C or D. Sentence number 4. Sita says, I may go there. 4 options are given, A, B, C, D. You may choose and write down any one option in your register. Sentence number 5. My friend requested me to bring him a sandwich. There are 4 options given before you. You may pick one and write it down in your register. Sentence number 6. He says, if I had the tools, I could mend the car. 4 options are given to you. You may choose any one option and write it down in your register. Sentence number 7. She said to the children, you mustn't play with fire. 4 options are given before you. You may choose any one option and write it down in your register. Sentence number 8. Everybody says how well she sings. And 4 options are given. You may write down any one option, the correct option in your register. Sentence number 9. He says that he is very sorry. This question is already in indirect speech. You have to change it into direct narration. Options are given before you. You may write down one option in your register. Number 10. The man says Priya is working in Ahmedabad. 4 options are given. You may write down one option in your register. Number 11. Anne said it is time to leave for the meeting. Options are given before you. You may choose any one option and write it down in your register. Sentence number 12. The old man said that he would soon be leaving the world. This is also indirect narration and you have to choose the correct direct narration out of these 4 options. Sentence number 13. Come home early, said Mr. Matthew to his clerk. 4 options are given. You will choose one option and write it down in your register. Either A, B, C or D, whatever it is. Number 14. I said water is essential for life. Do you remember something I recently told you? An instruction about this? Yes, very correct. This is universal truth. So you are not going to make any changes in the tense. Otherwise, if there is any other change you have to make, then you will make it. 4 options are there. You may choose any one option, the correct option for this. Sentence number 15. She asked me if I was going to college. This sentence is also in indirect narration and you have to choose the correct direct narration for the sentence out of these 4 options before you. Sentence number 16. Laiba said that she might go home the next day with her sister. Options are given before you and this sentence is also in indirect narration and you have to choose the correct direct narration for this sentence. Sentence number 17. He said, I was doing it. Options are given before you. You have to choose the correct option out of these 4. Sentence number 18. The lady asked me how my uncle was. This is also in indirect narration and you have to choose the correct direct narration for this sentence out of these 4 options. Sentence number 19. He said, honesty is the best policy. You have to choose the correct option for this sentence. Sentence number 20. He said that he intended to leave for Lahore that night. Yes, you are right. This is also indirect narration and you have to choose the correct direct narration out of these 4 options and write down the correct option in your register. Sentence number 21. The teacher said to him, is poverty not a curse? You have to choose the correct option out of these four A, B, C, D and write it down in your register. Sentence number 22. The prisoner inquired if a lawyer had been arranged for him. This is also indirect narration and you have to choose the correct direct narration for this sentence. Number 23. Talha ordered his brother to turn down the television and let him work in peace. This is also indirect narration and you have to choose the correct direct narration A, B, C or D and write down the correct option in your register. Sentence number 24. You will say, I am ill. Do you remember something in this sentence? You will say. I have recently given you an instruction about this sentence. When the reporting word is not in past tense, we do not make changes in the tense. So you will choose the correct option according to the instructions given to you and write down the option in your register. Number 25. He bade his friends goodbye. You have four options before you. This sentence is also indirect narration and you have to choose the correct direct narration for this. 26. He exclaimed with joy that their team had won the tournament. This is also indirect narration and you have to choose the correct direct narration out of these four A, B, C, D and write down the correct option in your register. And these are the last three sentences in your test. Number 27. His father said that it was time he visited his uncle. This is also indirect narration and you have to choose the correct direct narration out of these four options and write down the correct option in your register. Number 28. He said, I had a wonderful dream last night. You have to choose the correct option for this question. Sentence number 29. He said, I am buying a new pen. And four options are given before you. You have to choose the correct option and write down that option in your register. So my dear brothers, this is the test you people have to attempt either today or tomorrow, and you have to write down all the questions and their answers in your fair register. So when you get back to school, I'm going to check your register and I'm going to give you the marks accordingly. Tomorrow in the next video lecture, I will conduct the test of active and passive voice. So before tomorrow, you have to prepare yourself, go through the lecture I delivered on active and passive voice part 1 and part 2 and do some practice either in your rough register or fair register so that when I conduct the test tomorrow, you should be well prepared mentally and physically. See you then in the next video lecture. Till then, take very good care of yourselves. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.